Hello, my name is Exabu, and this is Unity of Command 2 Barbarossa DLC Kiev mission on hard. 3, 2, 1. Okay, this one is gonna be pretty short and easy. Normally I wouldn't have covered this mission because it's way too easy to. Well, I'm assuming there shouldn't be any problems dealing with Kiev. But since I'm covering all of the missions of the entire DLC, let's just do it. Kiev absolutely. I think it's a very good representation of what the Germans, of how much of a victory it was for the Germans during Barbarossa, because it was a huge success, and it's actually, in my opinion, it is much less of a success of the Germans, or less an active success of the Germans rather than the overconfidence and complete failure by the Soviets, leadership, and primarily Stalin as usual. And so this mission, it's pretty back to the game. In this mission, it's pretty obvious what you should do. One thing that you shouldn't do: don't leave any troops around Shostka. That's absolutely required. So, like, these guys, as you will see very soon, they're not doing anything. They are programmed to be passive, so that they will remain. On the other hand, Lochwitza, and you see what I'm doing, it's not just to take Lochwitza on turn 2, actually. The deadline is 3, but you really need to clear that area on turn 2 to comfortably succeed in this mission. So next turn, I'll actually cut the second railway feeding, not blocking, feeding Kiev crossing, and well, all of these guys will run out of pizza in 3 turns, which I will exploit so much. Alright, so the area around Poltava is slightly more difficult. The Soviets have considerable defenses here, and actually on hard, this place is rather difficult. It can be problematic, let's put it this way, because on classic I usually broke through at Kremenchug, and on hard I just realized that these guys are way the battle predictions were way too bad, and these guys were way too well prepared, too well entrenched. So yeah, I decided to go on the other side of the river, and I think it's maybe actually a better choice, even though the initial defenses, the initial resistance might be somewhat stronger. It's not crazy, and it's easy to cut another or block another railway line, which is, we actually can now see it between Lubny and Poltava. So if you cut that railway line, essentially everything west of Poltava will be out of supply, right? So, and even further securing the your control of the Kiev area, and well, the lack of supply, the lack of pizza for the Soviets there. So it's not critical. It's not hugely important, but it's always nice to have that. So as I'm advancing towards Poltava, and there's still time, and there are craploads of Soviets there, which I'll have to work through. I will actually, as an intermediate objective, as a milestone, I will block that railway before I take Poltava, and you will see. By the way, the Soviets are trying to contain these motorized and tank divisions that are trying to break through towards Lubny, and potentially block that railway. But that containment effort will not be useful here. So yeah, and as you can see, these guys are just the enemy guys around Shostka are just entrenching. So yeah, it's really not worth your time and forces, especially since if there were like a couple of infantry divisions around Shostka, I would have probably left them there, right? But because it's not just anyone, and this is critical. Okay, so effectively Kiev crossing is ours right now. So they're out of supply. It's very critical that you take. One of the reasons actually to take Lochwitza is not just to clear the area and, well, get that objective and not worry about it, but it's also that level 4 supply hub, because even if that railway is cut, that level 4 supply hub has a long enough distance of effect or area effect to actually provide supplies to many of the guys in the Kiev pocket. So absolutely, you have to take it. And I see that I'm not taking it on this turn, unfortunately. But I see that it was a bit of a mistake, and I'm suspecting that I just didn't have any. Well, it's clear that I don't have anyone to actually move into that hex. But it's not a tragedy, it's not a catastrophe here, because whoever they bring there, that unit will not be entrenched and probably will not have any specialist steps, so they're not going to be difficult to get rid of. And so yeah, it's just going to mean some more losses for me, nothing serious. But yes, but at the same time, some of the troops in the pocket will still be supplied, which is not great. So if you can, do everything to take Lechwitz on turn 2, because on turn 5, you need to have Kiev crossing done, and these guys need to be out of supply for at least 3 turns before you can make any gains. Yeah, and by the way, that area around Chernigov, I found that what you should do there really kind of depends, in a way, it depends on the difficulty level. I found that classic, obviously, because it's not, the battles are easy. Oh, I've lost a division there. The battles are easy on classic. You can actually do a proper offensive, proper infantry offensive there, and move towards that railway. On hard, it's harder. But there's still, there's a bit of a objective that you should follow. There's like a thing that you should pursue with that infantry, because it's a huge force. You should somehow use it. And my approach, I'm pretty much following that idea, that strategy here. So try to get onto that railway connecting Konotop and Kiev, and try your best to clear it, because it's your best way to supply whatever tank motorized divisions that are gonna rush towards Kiev. You really, actually, even though that pocket seems very convincing, right? So okay, you're winning, and etc. You will need those tank divisions to actually go to Kiev and take it. It's very unlikely that you'll be able to use your infantry to do assault crossing to the other side of the river and then attack that Kiev crossing hex. It's very unlikely that. It's not something I would rely on in actually taking those objectives, that objective. So what I usually do is send those tanks, which you'll actually see. And by the way, the Soviets tried to reinforce Lechwitza, but I'm gonna take it. Aren't I? Yeah, at the expense of some losses, but well, it's an objective, and this time actually on turn 3, I actually have to take it. All right, so. The Soviet supply hubs are mine. So I'm meeting Soviet pizza, and yes, and I'm rushing towards Kiev crossing, because I know that, yes, that infantry on the other side of the river, largely they just sit and do nothing. Effectively, pretty much they do nothing in terms of the combat. Maybe, I wonder if you have anything. Any better ideas about what to use them for, go ahead and let me know in the comments. But I found that they just sit there until at least one of the bridges is clear and all the enemies are out of supply. So I send them in and give them some experience, nothing more. Right, so just kill Soviet divisions just for experience, nothing else. So I don't think they're very useful in this battle. Certainly, they're not required. Yeah, using them is not required. I will, yeah, and as you can see, I'm pushing my mobile units in, and by the way, that move by the light division was to cut off that defending cavalry of supply, so that at that point they're not in supply, so yeah. Don't be scared by such movements, but those Soviet enemy movements around Shostka, they're not going to go far. They'll take that Shostka, but as you can see, they're not gathering a sort of a momentum to push and try to bite me in the flank. Right, so even though they could have, I think they could have done that. They could have really made my life much worse. If they really wanted to, but I'm guessing the creators of the scenario decided not to screw the player and made the AI actually passive in that area. Alright, and I'm gradually clearing the area around Poltava. Remember that next turn is actually the deadline for Poltava, so I really need those tanks next to the city, so that I can actually take it, even though it's not going to be too difficult. As you can see, the guys sitting there, even though they have an AC step, they are green divisions, which means that the chance of forcing them to surrender is huge, and that's all you need, really. I found, even though actually, to be honest, figuring out what to do in Kiev, well, it's a good idea to know what actually happened, but I actually figured it out on my first try in this mission. But when I first tried, so I took Kiev Crossing, and somehow I got surprised by the fact that the game doesn't. Okay, I've taken Lochvitsa, and I've taken Kiev Crossing and everything, and the game doesn't offer me, like, it usually prompts you, okay, so the mission is over, you've taken everything, congratulations, would you like to continue, like, beating your opponent, right? And nothing happens, and I wonder, what the hell? It's just like, have I missed anything? And then I look at Poltava, there's Poltava, and I'm overdue already, and I haven't done anything there, so I just missed it, like, when I just started that mission. But yes, Poltava, it's not difficult, but you need to keep in mind you should have plenty of troops to actually take it, even on hard. But it's certainly, compared to Kiev Crossing, it certainly takes more direct and active combat. And let's see what the Soviets do. I don't think they will be able to do anything, so at this point they're completely out of supply in the west. And in the east, they'll probably try to reshuffle something, but I'm too well positioned here, so for them to do really anything, they're not going to destroy my tank divisions or anything. Okay, and they've finally got their supply hubs back. So, yes, say more to Soviet pizza. All right, let's look at what I did at Poltava. So, turn 5 is the deadline for both the remaining objectives, and as you can see, I've got plenty of forces here, like an absolute overkill at this point. So yeah, so Kiev Crossing is pretty much mine. And right now already I'm starting to play these Soviet divisions for experience and nothing else. Yep, case in point. And just right now, obviously this is a replay and it goes faster, but at this point I'm just like shuffling through all of these divisions, just looking at what divisions I'm gonna use in the future missions, and what divisions I can actually, well, benefit from some experience to become veterans or elites. And bam, case in point once again. So yeah, because obviously, as you know, the divisions that are completely out of supply, like the Soviets here, will start deteriorating, so losing 3 steps every turn from there on. So I really need to capitalize on that, on as many kills as I can, so because it's valuable. Experience is valuable, and it's always valuable on all difficulty levels, but on hard, I found that it's particularly can be crippling if your units have been destroyed and are regulars. It can be that, yeah, you just, okay, and case in point, once again, so the recruits retreat very quickly, and yeah, so I have taken Poltava, and I think this is it for this mission. There's not much more to talk about, so I'm just gonna keep beating the Soviets up for another 2 turns here. Okay, so thank you for watching and for listening. I really hope this video has given you something useful, because this is a really easy mission, but whatevs. I hope it did. I hope at least it was maybe entertaining. Oh, my brilliant, funny stories. Anyway, thank you, and until next time.